So welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started since we have a lot to do, a lot of mischief to get up to this evening. I'm Sarah Lynch Thomason. I'm a song leader and artist and folklorist. Um, I said folklorist. Yeah, okay. Living in Asheville. This is Amelia. She's going to be our singing assistant for the evening. My pronouns are she, her. Amelia's pronouns are she, her as well. We're so glad to see you all. I want to name that we're here in Western North Carolina, where we live in Asheville is traditionally known as Togiasdi. That's a Cherokee name meaning the place where they raced. Because here we have the beautiful rivers of the French Broad and the Swannanoa that meet together, and this was a place of meeting and of gaming for a long time. So we are on the traditional lands of the Cherokee, the Talagi here. And I'd love to invite people to go ahead and put into the chat where you are joining us from. And if you do know the traditional lands, if you are on occupied land, if you know the traditional lands where you are, we would love to know that as well. So please go ahead and put into the chat. You will be muted for this experience. We have so many participants that we are going to keep people on mute. So you're going to be able to hear us singing. You're going to be able to hear yourself singing. But that is going to be it. If you choose to take the course that I'm offering, Singing the Wheel of the Year, we will be meeting in smaller cohorts. We'll be able to unmute and have more discussion and take turns hearing each other's voices. It'll be a different experience. But for this evening, we're going to be enjoying each other's voices in a more concentrated way. I also wanted to introduce our tech human for the evening, Claudio. I think he'll unmute himself and just say hi real quick.
Hello, everybody. Very lovely to be here. My name's Claudio, he, him. And if you have any technical questions, please feel free to talk to me or send me a private message in the chat, and I'll definitely answer them as soon as I can.
Yeah, thank you so much, Claudio. Yeah, so send any questions, any audio or visual questions to Claudio. Also, if there are any, we've done our best to work out all the audio visual stuff ahead of time, but if any issues come up that you think other people might be experiencing too, feel free to put that in the chat and Claudio can direct to me and let me know that there's something up and we can see what we can do about it. Yeah, I want to go ahead and see where people are coming from. Georgia, Indiana on Potawatomi land. Beautiful. I'm just going to pull up the chat here. Vermont on Abenaki land. Awesome. Thank you, Diane. Silver Spring, Maryland, the Piscataway people. Hi, Heather. Good to see you. Massachusetts, of the land of the Massachusetts people. Okay, let's see. Kalamazoo, Michigan on Anishinaabe land. Beautiful.
Hey,
Toronto.
Sarah. So several participants are saying that your sound comes through fairly quietly, but they can hear me perfectly. So they're asking if you could please turn your volume up.
I think that's going to mean, is this better? Is this any better? Is this louder? I'm seeing some nods. I'm seeing some people saying no. I am increasing the output level.
For me, it's the same and same as before.
Same as before. Do you want to just move the mic like closer? I can move the mic a little closer. Yeah. Though not a whole lot closer. I can move closer to the mic as well.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Okay, I am closer to the mic now. I have turned out on the output level more, but it seems like that is not necessarily making the difference. So I'm going to just be a little closer. I'm just going to be closer to the mic, as you can see.
That seems to be helping. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, thanks for all the feedback. That was very useful. So our flow this evening is we are going to spend some time. I'm going to talk a little bit about the course I'm offering, and then we're going to spend some time with vocal warm-ups, and then learn a few songs together. And then we're going to take a little break and then commit those songs to ritual together to celebrate Samhain. I do want to point out we have a screen here that is a dedicated altar space. So if you are in need of an altar space, you can also spotlight that for parts of the ritual. And want to go ahead and remind you what we would like for you to have on hand for your time with us. So we asked you to have a bowl of water. If the bowl could be filled about halfway, that's perfect, or a little less, that's great. You want to be able to position the bowl of water for the ritual part to be something where you can lean over the bowl and sing into the bowl, have easy access to it in that way. We've encouraged you to also bring an object of offering, and this can be something that's small. In our case, we're actually using acorns. Something that you can hold in the palm of your hand is useful for your object of offering. And if you're comfortable immersing it in water, that will enhance the experience too. And then an object of retrieval. So something that you intend, this will represent a piece of you want to retrieve. Again, it's nice if you feel comfortable immersing this in water. In our case, we're using our local crab apples here. If you're comfortable immersing that in water and taking it out, that's great. The water aspect of immersion is optional, but it's a nice part of the ritual to have. So that is what to have on hand. Also, if you registered ahead of time, then you should have a PDF copy of the lyrics we'll be working with. It's not strictly necessary for what we're learning, but if you want to have those in hand, I do encourage that. And I might be pulling them up later when we look at one of our particular songs. So, all right, we good on that? Some thumbs up? Thank you, wonderful. I am encouraging folks to use over-ear headphones for this experience if you have them. Certainly earbuds are really helpful too for some of the layered parts that we'll be practicing. And we have a cat who wants to get out of the room, so we're gonna let her out. I don't know if you can hear her or not. She sounds bothered. All right. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Wheel of the Year course, and then we'll get into our vocal warm-ups and our songs a bit more. So Singing the Wheel of the Year is a course I'm offering that starts on November 6th. There are online cohorts and in-person cohorts. So if you are local to Asheville, if you live nearby in Western North Carolina, there is an in-person cohort you can participate in. Otherwise, we have online cohorts that are meeting Monday evenings and also halftime on Tuesdays from 3 to 5 Eastern time. You can get all the details on my website. I'll certainly send a follow-up email so you can get more of those details. But what we'll be doing is meeting for 9 months out of the year, meeting in 2 sessions for each of those months. We'll have a singing session first and then a ritual session second. So what we're doing this evening is kind of a very compressed version of what we would be doing monthly. And we'll be learning songs to enliven your repertoire for the Wheel of the Year, for the 8 neo-pagan holidays. Many of us here are probably familiar with the Wheel of the Year, but the Wheel of the Year is a syncretic creation that is a combination of 4 traditional Celtic holidays and the solstices and equinoxes. And each of these holidays have a variety of beautiful traditions assigned to them. Some of these traditions are really old. Some of the traditions are a little newer. And in our time together, I'll be teaching us a variety of songs that draw from what we know from the historical record about these holidays, and wherever I can, pulling from traditional songs for those holidays. And then also pulling on contemporary songs, including songs I'm writing, that draw on, again, the spirit and what we know of the holidays and the ways that the holidays have evolved too, ways that we celebrate them now that might be a little different than how they were celebrated a few hundred years ago. So the idea is that you'll emerge from this course with a lot more experience with ritual, a really robust repertoire of songs. We'll be learning 4 to 6 songs for each holiday. And each song that we learn, you're going to get recordings of, you're going to get practice tracks. You're also going to get, so you can hear each individual part, right? You're also going to get karaoke tracks, which means if we're learning a song, like we're going to this evening, where there are 4 parts, okay, or 3 parts or a harmony part, you're going to get tracks where you can practice a part against those other parts. So you can feel confident in how everything flows together on your own and bring the song into your practice or into your communities. And the overall goal of our time together too is to just get to practice song as a form of worship for the animate world, to use our voices as an offering throughout the year to the animate world, to the deities. This course is animist, right? We see the world around us as alive. We see the fungi, the spirits, the plants, the animals as persons, right? It's polytheistic, so we will be looking at some of the different deities who are associated with these different holidays and their history, their aspects. And there's also room in our rituals, of course, for you to bring in your own deities, the beings who are important to you. And this course is rooted in history, as I said, in folklore, and particularly we'll be looking at the history and folklore from England, Ireland, and Scotland. So that's what we'll be rooting in. These traditions are much more widespread than that, but that is our focus for this particular course. So that's a general overview. I'm sure people will have questions. You're welcome to put questions into the chat. I'm not going to be able to answer them right now, but I will use them later to be able to answer more questions over email and give out more info. The course starts, I said, on November 6th for folks who are taking it online, and it starts November 8th for folks who are meeting in person. So if you enjoy your experience tonight and want more of it, then I invite you to sing in praise of the animate world with me all year long. All right. So with that, I'm going to invite Amelia back, and we're going to do some vocal warm-ups. And we'll learn a little bit more about Samhain and get into our first song. I'm going to be using a Shruti box this evening. Here's our Shruti box. Some of us might be familiar with it. This is a harmonium instrument. It's a type of harmonium from India, and it'll play drones for us that come out via the reeds that are in these exposed holes you might see. So you're not going to be able to physically see it very much, but it's going to be accompanying us a lot tonight. And we play this instrument with gratitude of the many hands and lineages of people who've carried this song for several hundred years, this instrument for several hundred years at this point. So I'm crowding you a little bit. Let me scoot in. That works. Let's take a breath in, filling up the belly and out. Let's do another one and just let out a deep sigh this time. Once more, we're going to shake out our days. This time, you do a breath in, fill up the belly, and then scrunch up your shoulders, and then out. Release. Yes. So when we sing with our whole bodies. We're not just singing with our lungs, with our vocal cords, with our mouths. Our whole body is vibrating. Our whole body is part of that practice. So we're going to make some sounds to remind ourselves of that wholeness that we sing with our whole bodies when we sing back to the universe. So I encourage you, if you're able, if you're near a desk or a surface of some kind, to lean your head over the desk if you just want to do that. If you want to get a little more committed, you can even get on the ground, if that's comfortable for you, on all fours, if you've got like a hard surface, or even against a wall. You can stand near a wall. What you want is a reflective surface. And we're just going to do some good hums, okay? So breathe in. Here's a Good, and we'll do that again. And this time, I want you to see if you can feel the vibrations in your toes, in your fingertips, in your bones. Here again. Beautiful. We'll do one more time. Feel that bone tone. Here we go. Beautiful. Now, as you're able, I encourage you to get into a sitting position. Maybe back to where you were. This time we're going to bring that awareness into our lungs, into our chest, into the cavern core. We're going to make an ooh sound. So I want you to imagine as if a thread is connecting, a golden thread is connecting your sternum to the heavens, all the way to the sky, and it's gently lifting your sternum. Okay. So we're going to do a breath in and do an ooh out. You can make whatever pitch you want. You don't have to follow ours. This is what we'll do. So breathe in and out. Now we're going to do it again, and this time I want you to remember that that thread is connecting you, and as you exhale, we're not going to move in, we're not going to collapse, we're going to stay lifted. Some singers call this the noble chest. Right? Okay, so in again. Beautiful, one more. For our last one, we're going to bring that awareness from our toes all the way up into our crown and back down again with a nice siren. So it's going to sound like this. This is going to be with an ah sound. Let's try that together. Take a second, just loosen your body up a little bit, shake a little bit if you need to. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to try and feel the pull of that energy from our toes up to our crown and back again as we go, okay? And we'll slow down our siren a little bit. Here we go. One more big breath in and slow out. Yes. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. So, what brings us together tonight is Samhain. I would love for folks to add into the chat if they want how you like to celebrate this holiday, because there's such a wide variety of ways to do it. There are so many different traditions, especially around death and grief and mourning and the celebration of death that come up with this holiday. And I do want to go ahead and name too that I know there is so much to grieve about going on in this world right now, and probably a lot of us are feeling a lot of grief and rage. And if I welcome you to make that a part of your ritual experience this evening. If there are emotions that need to come out, that need to be a part of this experience, this is the place for that. So I wanted to name that those doors are open for you if you wish them to be. So our focus for the evening, amongst the many threads, the mosaic of ways to celebrate this holiday, our themes are around feasting and retrieval. So the earliest documentation we have around traditional Samhain practices comes from medieval Ireland. And what these texts tell us is that this was a time of tribal and intertribal gathering. So this is towards the end of the harvest. This is already a time of communion in many communities, because the women and other young people who've been up tending the livestock, tending the sheep and the cattle in the upper sheilings, have brought them down again. They've been helping out with the harvest. And now it's a time of communal gatherings. And even peoples who've been at war with each other are going inward for a little while to be with their communities, to discuss legal matters, business matters, but also to feast and to have entertainment and to engage in religious rites. And those oldest texts don't really tell us what those religious rites looked like, but we can take some good guesses. there was probably sacrifice. There was probably sacrifice of boar in particular that would have grown really healthy and big on the nuts, on the mast of the fall, right? So a lot of feasting is happening and a lot of sacrifice, and part of that sacrifice was probably the feeding of ancestral forces of other deities through the boar, through other sacrificial items. Another important aspect of this holiday, we often hear, right, this phrase that came up in the Victorian era that's been a part of Samhain traditions ever since, which is that the veil between the worlds is thin, right? And in folk practice for a very long time, it's been traditional to leave out food for the puka, for the fairies, the shi, to make sure that they are fed on these nights, and also to protect ourselves, to make sure we're in good relation with them, right? There are a lot of traditions around protection, around warding on Samhain because that veil is so thin. But what that means too is that, like, the veil being thin goes both ways, right? It's easier for us to enter the other world, but that also means that this is a time when it's easier to retrieve people who have been kept captive in the other world too. So, for example, in some Irish folklore, if you're walking down a road and you see a parade of fairies on Samhain night, as is their practice, they like to do that, and you see captive humans amongst them, you can take the earth from underneath your feet and throw it at the fairies, and those captives will be made free. So in our time this evening, we are going to be playing both with those themes of feasting, of feeding the old forces, and of retrieving something important to us from the other world. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just checking to see if anyone shared in the chat about their traditions. I might be having some trouble seeing it. I'm not sure. Pumpkin adoration. Yes. I love that that's the first thing we see. Pumpkins adoration. That's great. Community celebrations, honoring death. Yes, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for sharing, y'all. Okay, I'm hearing again from Diane to lean into the mic. I'll try and get a little closer. All right. So we're going to go ahead and learn our first song. This is going to be the promised Proto-Celtic chant. All right. So we're going to learn some vocabulary, and then I'm going to get a bit more into what do I mean when I say Proto-Celtic? Where do these words come from? And what is the meaning of this song? So first, and this is a point where if you want to reference your lyric sheets, you can. It's again, not strictly necessary for this song because we just have a little bit of vocab to learn. So here's your first word, bundo. Say that with me.
Bundo.
Bundo. So B-U-N-D-O. We'll just say it one more time. Bundo. Great. Okay. And then our next word is matir. M-A-T-I-R. Matir. Yeah. So matir means mother, and bundo means earth or ground. Okay, so we'll say bundo matir. Try that. Bundo matir. Okay. So this means ground mother or earth mother. In our song, we are essentially naming a series of feminine ancestral forces for whom we don't necessarily have specific names for anymore, but this is a way of saying, hey, I see you. I know you're back there from a Celtic perspective, right? So our next word is kelyo, K-E-L-Y-O. So let's say that together. Kelyo. Yeah. Kelyo matir. Kelyo matir. There we go. So kelyo means death or hidden from life. So kelyo matir is is death mother. Okay, so we have bundo matir, our ground mother. We have kelyo matir, the death mother. Then we have sordo. So let's try that. Sordo. Let's try it again. Sorry.
Sure.
Sordo. Yeah. So it's like the word sword, like the weapon, sordo with an O, a hard O on the end. Sordo matir. Let's say that. Sordo matir. Yeah. So sordo means shining or bright. So shining mother. And then our last epithet is going to be Wheatsu. So this is spelled W-I-T-S-U. Wheatsu. Let's try that. Wheatsu. And now all together. Witsu. There we go. Sorry. And then Witsu matir. So we'll say that. Witsu matir. Yeah. So Witsu is wisdom. So wisdom mother. Okay. So Proto-Celtic. Actually, I'll go ahead and we'll learn one more vocab word, then a little more background. Our last word to learn is molyeyo. So let's try that. Molyeyo. I love that repetition of this, the yay, the yo. I love that repetition, right? So one more time. Molyeyo. Beautiful. It's really fun to see y'all at home saying it with me. I like that. So molyeyo means praise or prayer. So this song, as I said, comes from Proto-Celtic, or is reconstructed from the Proto-Celtic language. This is a song I created. We'll actually get to hear it with melodies in a second. Very exciting. And Proto-Celtic is essentially, linguists had this idea that before we had the languages of Irish Gaelic and Scots Gaelic and Manx and Cornish and all these different Irish languages, there was a mother Celtic language, essentially, right? And through methods like comparative analysis and saying, okay, if the word for sheep is this in Manx and the word for sheep is this in Breton, and we put those together, and what do we think was maybe the mother word for sheep in Proto-Celtic? And so it's a partially reconstructed language that people would have been speaking in the Bronze Age. So in terms of what England, at least, that would have been about 2200 BCE to 750 BCE. So spoken around then before these languages start to break apart. So for me, with the creation of this song, the idea is to give recognition to deities who we lost, who for some of us, right, ancestry, we lost relationship with. All of us have ancestral beings who we no longer have the names for, right? A lot of that just happens through the passage of time. But this is also something that happens through colonialism and through capitalism, right? And through very uneven ways, but ways that also, for all of us, bring up different forms of grief, whether that has been through genocide or being displaced from homelands or enslavement, or simply having to leave home for a variety of reasons. In all those variety of ways, we feel grief for the loss of those relationships, right? So this song is just one little piece through one particular cultural experience of saying, hey, y'all back there in my line, I don't know everything about you I'd like to know, but I see you and I want to feed you and I want to give homage to you. So that is the prayer of this song. So we're going to learn the melody, the first melody, and then learn how to layer some parts on top of each other. And then we're going to bring in a looper to sing this song fully together. So here we go. You'll listen once. Oh, we're getting some noise from somewhere, but I'm sure we'll take care of that. Here's the whole phrase, and I'll break it down for you. But it goes like this. Bundoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir. So here's our first part. Listen once. Bundoma tir. Let's do that. Bundoma tir. All right, we'll do it one more time. Okay, here we go. Bundoma tir. Beautiful. Then we have Kelyoma tir. We'll do that. Kelyoma tir. All right, so we'll put those two together. Bundoma tir, Kelyoma tir. Here we go. Bundoma tir, Kelyoma tir. Beautiful. And now you know the melody to the second part, which will sound like this. Sordoma tir. Let's do that. Sordoma tir. And then we have Witsuma tir. Let's do that. Witsuma tir. So sordoma tir, witsuma tir. We'll put all that together. Sordoma tir we tsuma tir. Great. Okay. So we are going to put all of that together now, starting with Bundo Matir. So here we go. Bundo Matir kel yoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir. Beautiful. Okay, one more time. Bundo tir kel yoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir. Yeah. Okay. How's that feeling to folks? I got to see a thumbs up. All right. Seeing some of that. Great. All right. So here's our next part. And this is nice for higher voices in particular. We have molyeyo. It goes like this. Molyeyo, 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 molyeyo. Let's just try that together. Molyeyo, 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 molyeyo. Nice. Okay. So we're going to hear now how those layer together with each other. So we're going to sing Bundo Matir together once, that first phrase, that whole first phrase. And then we're going to bring in, and then I'll layer the molyeyo on top. So sing whichever part you feel excited about. Bundo Matir kel yoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir molyeyo tir kel yoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir molyeyo tir kel yoma tir molyeyo tir witsuma tir. Yeah. So those are our first two parts together. I'm going to teach you a little drone part that can be added to this, and then we'll have the whole song together. So you can do a nice drone with some of the words we've learned. That's just on the same starting note. Oh, thank you, Heather. Heather says this song is beautiful. I think so too. Thanks y'all for singing it with me. So it goes. Bundo kelyo sordo witsu. We'll try all that. Here we go. Bundo kelyo sordo witsu. Again, sorry. You are doing it right. Here we go. Bundo kelyo sordo witsu. Nice. Now, for those of us who have nice low voices, another choice you have is to hop down and go Bundo kelyo sordo witsu. We can try that once. Bundo kelyo sordo witsu. Yeah, so if any of y'all are inclined to that, the nice low region, you can do that as well. So we'll demo real fast what it sounds like to layer the Bundo Matir, our first phrase again, with the Bundo drone. So we'll start again with that main phrase that you learned first, and then I'll add in the drone. I'm going to check and see where we're at with our pitches here. Okay, here we go. Undoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir bundoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir yeah, so that's another choice for you with this song. All right, so with that, well, actually, I'll explain a little bit more about the purpose of the song. Then we'll get to hear all the parts together, and then we'll learn our second song and move on to our ritual. So, as I said, this song is sort of a calling, right? It's saying to so many beings in our lineage, hey, I recognize you. I want to feed you. And in the spirit of speaking a language that was spoken in the Bronze Age, our ritual this evening is going to be linked to forms of offering from the Bronze Age as well. So in the Bronze Age and certainly into the Iron Age too, a very common form of giving offerings for Celtic peoples was to give offerings through water. Water seemed to be the linking point into the other world, into access to communication with other deities, with beings that we would now call fairies, perhaps with the dead as well. And these offerings could be food, they could be butter, they could be milk. They could also be votive offerings like axe heads and swords and torques like the one I'm wearing, other jewelry. And these were often deposited in what archaeologists today call hoards. So in these huge deposits of coins and other metalwork given to these other beings. So in our ritual, this is why we have our bowl of water. This is going to be our access point into the other world. And we're going to be giving a song offering into the other world, speaking the language that these offerings of the people who were making these offerings several thousand years ago. So we're going to get to hear how everything sounds together now. I'm going to be using a looper, and we've tested. It should sound fine, but please let me know in the chat if anything is coming up for you. Should come through clearly. You might need to adjust the volume. For some folks, it might come in a little more loudly than for other people. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. But let me know. So I'm going to add in the parts one by one, and you can add yourself in as you wish, sing whatever part you want and get into the groove a bit. Okay, so I'm going to turn on some reverb. Hello, hello. All right, we got some reverb going. All right, and you're going to hear a tempo, like a little ding going for a little bit. Once I've added in the parts, I'm going to take away that ding sound, so that'll no longer be there. Get to a good tempo here, so we're not too fast. There we go. Undoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir mulyeyo 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 Since we're over Zoom, let me know how that felt in the chat. I like seeing from Jessica. That sounds about right. I appreciate that.
Did you ever switch the sound over?
Oh, I don't have to.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I will turn off the reverb though, as fun as it is. Good to see all that. Thanks, y'all. Let's take a breath in and a loud breath out. Yeah. So we will be jiving with that song a bit more a little later on. I want to move us on to our next song for time. I'm aware we might go a little over our scheduled time today, so I want to keep us moving together here. So our next song we're going to look at is a very different song. We're going to a traditional ballad, so a story song that comes to us from the Orkneys, from the Orkney Islands. Pardon me, not the Orkneys, the Shetlands, so a little further north. So I'm going to share my screen and pull up the lyrics for this one just so we can get a bit more of a stronger understanding of the story. And we will not be learning the whole ballad this evening. Sorry to disappoint anybody, but we're going to be singing through the whole thing, but we will not be going word for word through it. I'm going to be teaching you the refrain here. This starts for us, our song King Orfeo starts in about the middle of the left-hand column of our page. And I'm going to start teaching it to you, and then as we go, I'll be getting into the background and meaning of this song. And we are going to be using a Shruti box to accompany us again. Find a good pitch for us. You okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Here's my first line. There was a king lived in the east. And then here's your line. You can sing it with me, yeah. Green the wood grows early. So try that with me. Green the wood grows early. Yeah, one more time. Green the wood grows early. Beautiful. Here's my line. He loved a lady, he loved a lady in the west. And here's your line. Where the heart runs yearly. Let's try that. Where the heart runs yearly. Yeah, I'm gonna give myself some water here. I think I'm just gonna bring us up just half a step. I think that's gonna be more comfortable for me this evening. All right. So, green the wood grows early. That's our first refrain. What this essentially means is the wood is coming into bloom. The woods are coming into their greenery, into their sprouts, into the new leafing early in the spring. So, green the wood grows early. And then our second refrain, where the hart runs yearly, H-A-R-T. So a hart is a male red deer. So this is referring to a stag. And red deers are native to Europe. They're actually one of the largest deer species in the world. And our song, this refrain, probably has some important significance to the meaning of our song. So the image that we have is of a hart running through the woods, maybe running through the woods in spring time. And harts have pre-Christian significant symbolism as beings that guide people into the other world, that guide them into the lower realms. They're messengers of a sort. Harts also have associations with kingship and with kings. And as you will see, there's very much a king in our story. So there's no mistake that the hart is here. So we are actually going to sing our way through more of this, and we'll reach a stopping point, and I'll tell you more about the meaning of this song. So I want you to join in on that refrain every time. There was a king lived in the east. Green the wood grows early. He loved a lady in the west, where the hart runs yearly. This king, he has a hunting gone. Green the wood grows early. He's left his lady all alone, where the heart runs yearly. I wish you'd never gone away. Green the wood grows early, for at your home is dull and way, where the heart runs yearly. The king of fairy with his dart, green the wood grows early, has pierced the lady to the heart, where the heart runs yearly. Yes, so I'm going to scoot back in a little closer for people to hear me better. So King Orfeo, we're so lucky to have this song. There's only one version of the song that's been collected. That was up in the Shetlands from this man, Edward Coates. And when he sang this song, it was actually in the Scots dialect, the Scots language rather, and had mixtures of Norn in there as well. So some of the, actually the refrain we're singing has been translated into English, but used to be in the language of Norn, which is an evolved form of Norse that was spoken in the Shetlands and in the Orkneys. So we have a few Scots language words here. So we have a king, right? We have a king. He's married his lady. In this song, her name is Isabel, which we'll hear later. And he's gone hunting and she's been left alone. And she says, I don't want to be gone. I don't want to be away from you. I wish you'd never gone away, for at your home is dull and way. Dull is a word essentially meaning sadness or grief. And then way means woe. So I'm at your home, I'm alone, I'm feeling grief and woe. So then the king of fairies has come along and pierced her to the heart and taken her to the fairy world. So in this case, we're not talking about a physically being pierced by an arrow. We're talking about more of a spiritual experience. Her body is being taken away to the other world, but she's been elf shot of a sort. She's been pierced and taken away, and away from her husband. So what's really beautiful about this story is that this story is a amazing melding, a meeting of Greek mythology and Celtic cosmology that happened in the Middle Ages. So this story is the story of Orpheus, of the muse Orpheus, seeking his wife Eurydice in the underworld. But it's been placed in a Celtic context in the world of the fairies instead. So some people here might be familiar with the Orpheus, this Orpheus story, but in short, Orpheus, who is rather the son of a muse and is one of the greatest lyre players and musicians and poets, marries a woman named Eurydice, but on their wedding day, she is bit by a snake and dragged into the underworld. And he goes and he pursues her and he convinces through his masterful playing to have Eurydice return to him. But on the journey back up to the outer world, he looks at her, which he is not allowed to do until he gets to the surface, and she is taken back under again. So things pan out a little differently in our story, but that is the basis of our story. But now we are in a Celtic world, we are in a fairy world for our narrative. So we'll keep singing here. And after them the king has gone, green the wood grows early. But when he came, 'twas a grey stone, where the heart runs yearly. And he sat there for 7 years, green the wood grows early, till a company to him drew near, where the heart runs yearly. He sat down so dull and way, green the wood grows early, and he took out his pipes to play, where the heart runs yearly. First he played the notes of night, green the wood grows early, and then he played the notes of joy, where the heart runs yearly. Then he played the gabareel, green the wood grows early, that might have made a sick heart heal, where the heart runs yearly. Now come you into our hall, green the wood grows early, and come you in among us all, where the heart runs yearly. Yes. So at this point in our song, Orfeo has pursued his wife into the woods. He's gone after the fairies, but when he comes to the place where they disappeared, all he sees is a stone. And so he sits and waits for 7 years for a sign of his wife. And eventually he sees them. He sees a train of fairies going hunting, and in this hunting party is his wife. And they disappear again. They go past the gray stone again into the earth. And so he sits down and plays his pipes as a way to try and gain entry. And he plays the gabber-reel, which is to say he plays a lively tune. He plays a dance tune. He plays the notes of noi, which probably means something like the notes of sadness or the notes of grief. And then he plays the notes of joy, right? And this does gain him entry into the other world. And so now we have someone saying, come you into our hall and come you in among us all. And that's the fairy king saying, okay, you have entry now. So we're going to finish out our song together. And now he's come into the hall, green the wood grows early, and he's come in among them all, where the heart runs yearly. He sat down so dull and way, green the wood grows early, and he took out his pipes to play, where the heart runs yearly. First he played the notes of noi, green the wood grows early, and then he played the notes of joy, where the heart runs yearly. And then he played the gabber-reel, green the wood grows early, that would have made a sick heart heal, where the heart runs yearly. The king of fairies then did say, green the wood grows early, what shall we give you for your play, where the heart runs yearly? What I will have, I will you tell, green the wood grows early, and that's my lady Isabel, where the heart runs yearly. You'll take your lady and go home, green the wood grows early, and you'll be king or all your own, where the heart runs yearly. He's ta'en his lady and gone home, green the wood grows early, and now he's king or all his own, where the heart runs yearly. So in the last part of our song here, he's gone down into the fairies' world. I'm going to actually end our screen share, come back to all of us together. Here we go. Come back into the fairy world, come down into the fairy world. And what's important to know about this other world is that unlike Orpheus's journey into the underworld, the other world is a place that's really bright. It's really luminous. The food that you eat in the other world is the best food you've ever eaten in the world. The colors are the most vibrant colors you've ever seen. The music is the best music you could ever hope to hear. So even though the other world is accessed under us, we go under it into the earth or through the water to get there. It's not actually a dark place. And often in the historical references, we see to it as a place that is dark. The real meaning there is a place that is unseen, a place that is hard for us to see. So it is dark to us, right? So this place that Orfeo has entered into is bright. And in other versions of this story that passed around as poetry, um, we know that he enters a castle, right? He enters this bright, luminous castle and sees his lady there and sees the fairy court. So he sits down again and he plays his pipes and he plays beautifully, and the fairies weep and they say, "What do you want?" And he says, "I want my wife back. I want Isabel." And in many versions of the story, the fairy king resists and says, "No, no, no, let's give you something else." But he insists, and he is able to bring Isabel back to his world again and be reinstated as king as well, since he's been gone for 7 years. So that is our Orfeo story. Again, it's so special that we have this at all, and the ways that people have and always continue to combine their different understandings of the world and their cosmologies together to create these narratives, and in our case, a narrative of retrieval. So the way we're going to use this song in our ritual is for retrieving something precious to us. We are going to act as Orfeo. We are going to go into the other world and retrieve something that we're missing, that we want to bring back out. And in that process, like Orfeo, make an offering of sound to the other world. So with that, we are going to move into our time of ritual together. Okay, I think I'm seeing again that I'm very quiet. I've tried to move a lot closer to the mic. I'm sorry about the volume issues. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and get your ritual objects ready. I'm going to try one more thing with volume. Tell me, am I any louder now? Oh yeah, that would be helpful. Am I any louder now? I think I'm going to need to see through the chat if someone can tell me in the chat. Not seeing any comments in the chat at the moment. It really should be under output levels, but it's not changing when I'm working with a looper and a mixer, so there's a lot going on here. Okay, I'm seeing there's no change. All right, I'm going to do my best just to be a lot closer to the mic. You're going to be hearing me sing a lot louder too, but that is okay. So I'm going to ask you.
Some people are saying they can hear you very well.
Okay, I think some people consistently can hear me well, and some people are still having, it's still too quiet. All right, so we're going to set up for our ritual now. Yeah, I'll definitely do my best to stay closer to the mic. So for our ritual, you're going to have your bowl of water filled about halfway. Here's ours. And then you have your objects of offering and your objects of retrieval. Okay, so our object of offering on our end today is going to be acorns. It's beautiful acorns from a nearby cemetery, very fitting. And your object of your retrieval. And both of these, I'm asking, it's very helpful for them to be smaller objects that can also be immersed in water. And what I'm going to go ahead and ask you to do is put your object of retrieval, go ahead and put that in the bowl. So, because it's going to be retrieved later. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Putting ours in there. Actually, we need our 2 crab apples. This is the part where you learn if your object of retrieval floats or not.
It's a witch.
Is it a witch, or is your object of retrieval a witch or not? Great. Okay, I'm just looking at who I can see right now. Okay, beautiful. So then go ahead and I'll encourage you to put that in a place nearby. We're going to keep ours on the floor for now, but have it in a place nearby because you do want to be able to sing into it, to lean over it, to bow to it comfortably if you want to as well. All right. So as I've been saying, our ritual entails 2 parts, our time of feasting and our time of retrieval. We're going to bring back in both of our songs, but I'll be explaining as we go. Oh, someone's asking, can it be multiple objects? Absolutely. If it's comfortable for you, you can give multiple objects. You can retrieve multiple objects. I will say that these, the object of offering is one I would encourage you to keep on an altar afterwards or bury, or put out in nature somewhere so that the energy can continue to go as an offering, right? You don't want this to be something that you're going to continue to use in some fashion afterwards, unless it is in its specific context as an offering, if that makes sense. Depending on your tradition, for some people, if something is given as an offering, then that spirit of offering is gone afterwards, and it's totally fine, say, to consume the object, right? If it's like a piece of cake or something like that, totally cool. And other traditions, that's not always the case, and you really want to give it away. So it depends on your perspective, what you want to do with that. And then your object of retrieval, of course, you can do with as you will, but that might also be a good item or items to keep on your altar as part of whatever the pact is with yourself, to keep that part of yourself close to you, right? So to enter into our ritual space, we are going to call in the directions and call in the associated elements of the directions. And we're going to do this with our voices, right? In praise of these different directions and forces. So we're going to go through what that will look like before we actually do it. I'm going to use the Shruti box again. Actually, I might keep it here. So I'll encourage folks to face, as you're comfortable, face the direction of, you don't need to do this yet, but face the direction that I'm calling in, or to just lift a hand and have that hand face the direction, right? If that's more easy for you from where you're positioned. And I'm going to sing them in and then invite people to make sounds that they associate with the appropriate element. Okay, so I might say, animate forces of the west of water, we call you in, we invite you in, by making your sounds in reverence. So then this is our time to make the sounds of water, of the west of water. So maybe you'll use your body percussively, right? Like is it water pounding on a surface? Is it a little trickle of water, right? Is it right? Is it the sound of thunder, right? And if you don't know what sound to make and you're like, I feel kind of on the spot about this, you can always just make a sound, just make a drone, and that's the invitation in for that element, okay? So we'll practice once, right? Animate forces of the west of water, we call you in, we invite you in, by making your sounds in reverence. Yeah. And then we'll end each call in each direction with a ring of the bell and say, we welcome you, we welcome you, we welcome you. So here we go. We welcome you, we welcome you, we welcome you. Yeah. All right. Gonna get going here. We will start with the west in reverence of the fact that this is the time of waning light. This is the time when the setting sun has more significance to us. So I invite you to face the direction of west and to lift a hand or two hands to that direction. Close your eyes if you wish. Animate forces of the west of water, we invite you in, we welcome you in, by making your sounds in reverence. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. I invite you now to turn to the north. Animate forces of the north of Earth. We invite you in, we call you in by making your sounds in reverence. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. Invite you to turn towards the east. Animate forces of the east of air. We invite you in, we call you in by making your sounds in reverence. We welcome you. We welcome you. We welcome you. I invite you to face the south. Animate forces of the south of fire. We welcome you in, we invite you in by making your sounds in reverence. We welcome you, we welcome you, we welcome you. I invite you to turn towards your screens again. And now is the time to invite in any ancestral forces, any deities, any spirits who are well and of good intent to join us in our sacred space this evening. You can invite them in through the chat if you want. You can simply speak them out loud at home. You can sing them in if you want. Now is the time.
Grandmother Mary Becker and Grandmother Jean Stampster, I welcome you in as ancestors to my family line.
I call in Brigantia. I call in Great Aunt Sarah. We'll end with another "We welcome you" 3 times. We welcome you, we welcome you, we welcome you. Now we're entering our time of feasting, of feeding the ancestral forces. I'm going to tell you what this is going to look like. So we have our elements of our bowls in front of us or nearby. We have our object of offering or objects of offering. And what we're going to do is I'm going to lead you in a short meditation to focus on an ancestral force or being who you want to give gratitude to. This could be a relative, someone from your direct lineage, could be an ancestor of place, could be a river, right, from a homeland, could be a lot of different beings. So we'll spend time meditating on that, and then we'll start our Bundo Matir song. And I'll bring in the different parts on the looper as you've been hearing, and you can join in on whatever parts you want and get into the flow of the song. And what I'm going to invite you to do is take your object of offering, and as you're singing, hold it to you in some way so that the song can be imbued into the object. So that could look like holding it to your chest as it feels the vibrations of your chest. If it's more comfortable, depending on your object, perhaps you could just hold it in your lap. You can also, this is my favorite, is directly sing into it, right? Like sing into the object, that offering of song. So we'll spend time doing that as we sing Bundo Matir. And then when you're ready, I'll invite you to approach your bowl. So Amelia's going to lift it for me here. And again, depending on your positioning, if you're comfortable to bow to the bowl, if there's anything you want to say to that ancestral being or force, you can whisper it in, you can say it to the offering, and then gift it to the other world. Bow again if you're comfortable, and then move back into the mode of singing again. So that's approaching the bowl, bowing, leaving a message if you want, if you so choose, and then leaving the gift into the other world, bowing again, moving back into song. So you'll see both Amelia and I doing this during the ritual as well as the music is going. And for those with their cameras on, I will just get a sense of when most people have gotten this done, and we will slowly move out of the song. I'll take away different parts, and we will end with all singing Molyeyo, praise, praise again. Okay, Salome, if I'm saying your name correctly, is asking a good question. Are there different bowls? Are there separate bowls for offering and retrieval? No, there's just one bowl. You can use separate bowls if you want to, but we're keeping it simple by having our object of retrieval already in the bowl, actually, as if we can tilt it, but there are crab apples in there. That's our object of retrieval in there. And then you're going to go ahead and put the offering in, and then in our Orfeo song, which we'll get to, we will take the offering out. So just one bowl, but if you have to, that is also fine. Yeah, thanks. All right, please put any other questions in the chat. So we're going to begin. We're going to begin with that meditation. I'm bringing the Shruti again, and then we'll let Bundo Matir make its way into us. And, you know, we'll be singing the song for several minutes, maybe longer than we're used to singing some songs. And what I encourage you to feel is feel into that repetition, lean into it, because the repetition is where we find catharsis. It's where we find that sense of release and depth that so many cultures know how to do, so many of our ancestors knew how to do too, through song and dance, right? So I'm going to make one adjustment here. It's already playing. I'm going to stop that. Okay, I think we're ready to go. You get your headphones on? Yeah. Go ahead. In our Samhain ritual this evening, you should close your eyes and reflect. Who are you feeling grateful for? Is it someone of your direct lineage? A grandmother? A great-great-great-grandfather? Someone who you know is there but whose name has been lost? Is it a spiritual ancestor? Someone who you are not directly descended from, but whose arts, whose music, whose ideas, whose kindness has shaped you? Is it an ancestor of place? Is it a homeland? Is it an entire country? Is it a tree? A forest? A lake? Or is it an ancestral deity? Or any deity who you have so much gratitude for? Perhaps you know their name, perhaps you don't. Fix this being in your mind's eye. What are they wearing? How are they adorned? What colors envelop them? What is the texture of their skin? Is it hard as oak? Is it soft as the grass? Is it cool and wet because it's a river? What are their sounds? Do they have a small laugh, a big laugh? Do they roar? Do they weep quietly? Do they crackle? I encourage you to take your object of offering and hold it to yourself, beginning to flow that sense of gratitude into your object, that deep appreciation. And we'll begin our song. Bundoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma tir witsuma tir bundoma tir kelyoma tir sordoma Invite a breath in into the belly, and out. If you're feeling any feelings in this moment, we're going to do another breath in and make whatever sound you want coming out. All right, so in and out. One more. In and out. I want to thank everyone for being part of this vulnerable process, right, of offering and retrieving. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that you are able to be in a space like this, like Zoom, right, and that we're all reaching for each other here, right, and we're reaching for the unseen forces, and we can still have these experiences together, even in this magical modern space of Zoom. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Salome. You will be receiving recordings of this song, as well as liner notes, more background on this one. I want you to carry this song. I want you to be able to carry it with you in your own practice and share it with others too. So I hope it can be used again and again for gratitude and for feasting. We're going to move into our ritual of retrieval. I recognize that we're at time now, and I know we're going a bit over what was predicted, so I think anyone who's willing to stay a bit longer, and respect and understanding for anyone who needs to take off, we will be sharing the recording later on. So to ready yourself for our time of retrieval, you're going to have your bowl nearby again, and your object of retrieval is already there, right? It's already in the bowl or nearby if you need it to be nearby. They're in the other world waiting to be taken. So I'm going to lead you again in a meditation around what you are seeking, what part of you wish to retrieve. And then I'll start singing Orfeo, and you'll join in on that refrain. And I want you to think about that refrain, right? There's a lot going on here in both our songs about repetition, right? And really being in the song. And the repetition that we're engaging with is not something that we're used to quite often as modern singers, unless we're people who already get to engage in chant, right? And I think the service here of the repetition in a ballad like this is to have, even if you're not singing the whole story, right? That repetition, and even in the story too, the notes of noi, the joy, the gabarreel over and over again, is bringing us into a place of meditation and is sinking us into the story in this powerful way. So every time that we are doing that repetition of the heart and the green wood that is growing early, we're amplifying the story. We are raising the power of the story and the meaning behind the words. So I'll start singing the song. And when we get to the point where Orfeo enters the other world, I'm going to ring a bell. And this will be your time to enter the other world yourself. So the shruti will continue to play. And this will be your time to approach the bowl again, bow again, and retrieve your object of retrieval out. Bow again if you wish. And then we'll stay in a place of meditative silence with the shruti going. And once I see that folks have gotten their objects of retrieval, we'll finish our song. Orfeo will retrieve his wife and go back to the upper world. And after that, we will move out of our sacred space and end our time together. So let me know if there are any questions about this part of our ritual. So you will know it is time to enter the other world because you'll hear a bell and the singing will stop. You'll approach, take out your object, bow while doing so. Oh, I left out a very important element. This is actually the most important thing. You have to make an offering to the other world just as Orfeo does, right? So when you approach the bowl, make a sound into it. Make your sound offering. It could reflect how you're feeling. Maybe it's going to be a wail. Maybe it's going to be a laugh. Maybe it's going to be a giggle. Maybe it's just a tone or a yawn, right? But you have to make that offering in order to get that object of retrieval out again. Okay, so let me know if there are any questions. Yes, so the offering object, the idea was to put it into the water in order to offer it to the other world. So you can go ahead and do that now. You can do it after our ritual is over, or put it into a different body of water after the ritual. But that was the idea. Yes, Laura. And then the object of retrieval should already be in the water. Yeah. Okay. Going to bring us into our meditation. Invite you to close your eyes again. What part of yourself have you lost that you wish to retrieve? Did you lose it a long time ago? Did you lose it recently? Is this a part of you that feels sweet or sharp? Is it patient? Is it a sense of wonder? Is it a sense of hope? Did you lose this thing slowly, imperceptibly, or quickly, suddenly? This part of you isn't gone. It's been waiting for you in the other world. Nestled, safe, sleeping, warm. All that's needed to begin your journey into reintegrating this part of yourself is that offering of sound, that gift. And the other world will freely give it back to you. There was a king lived in the east. Green the wood grows early. He loved a lady in the west, where the heart runs yearly. The king has to the wildwood gone. Green the wood grows early. He's left his lady all alone, where the heart runs yearly. I wish you'd never gone away. Green the wood grows early. For at your home is Dullin Way, where the heart runs yearly. The king of fair pierced the lady to the heart, where the heart runs yearly. And after then the king has gone, green the wood grows early. But when he came, 'twas a gray stone, where the heart runs yearly. He sat there for 7 years, green the wood grows early, till a company to him drew near, where the heart runs yearly. Some did ride and some did walk, green the wood grows early. He spied his lady them among, where the heart runs yearly. He sat down so dull and way, green the wood grows early, and he took out his pipes to play, where the heart runs yearly. First he played the notes of noy, green the wood grows early, and then he played the notes of joy, where the heart runs yearly. Then he played the gabareel, green the wood grows early, that would have made a sickart heel, where the heart runs yearly. Now come you into our hall, green the wood grows early, and come you in among us all, where the heart runs yearly. Now he's come into the hall, green the wood grows early, and he's come in among them all, where the heart runs yearly. took out his pipes to play, where the heart runs yearly. And first he played the notes of Noy, green the wood grows early. And then he played the notes of joy, where the heart runs yearly. And then he played the gabareel, green the wood grows early. That would have made a sick heart heal, where the heart runs yearly. The king of fairies then did say, green the wood grows early. What shall we give thee for thy play, where the heart runs yearly? What I will have, I will you tell, green the wood grows early. And that's my lady Isabel, where the heart runs yearly. You take your lady and go home, green the wood grows early. And you'll be king o'er all your own, where the heart runs yearly. He's ta'en his lady and gone home, green the wood grows early. And now he's king o'er all his own, where the heart runs yearly. I invite you to take your object of retrieval, this piece of you that you have gathered up, that you've gone into the other world, that you've made your offering for and brought back out again, to hold it to your chest or hold it close to you. And if you feel comfortable, to repeat after me. I promise to care for you.
I promise to care for you.
I promise to keep you well and whole.
I promise to keep you well and whole.
I promise to never forget you.
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 Invite another breath in, deep into the belly. And a big sigh out. If you need to reintegrate into your body a little bit, I encourage you to give yourself some gentle massages down the arm. Wiggle your toes a little. I'm going to go ahead and bring us out of our ritual space. Thank you for everyone who's been able to stay with us this whole time. We are going to say goodbye and thank you to the animate forces of the different directions. and goodbye to the other spirits we've called in. And afterwards, if anyone wants to stick around, and I'm happy to do a little Q&A more about the course if you have any lingering questions, or you can email me in future days. But right now we'll close out together. And thank you everyone for all of your sharing and vulnerability in the ways that we have shared such beautiful space together this evening. For Samhain, for this time of darkness, we are all now better prepared through our gifts of offering and our gifts of retrieval to ourselves for this winter season to come. So, as you're comfortable, if you will stand or face the west again, we'll start with the west. And this time we won't be making the sounds anymore of these forces. Instead, I will sing to them, I'll thank you, and then we will say 3 times together, we thank you. Animate forces of the west of water, we welcome you in. Oh, we're not welcoming you, we're saying goodbye to you. We thank you for your presence. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. If you will now face the north. Animate forces of the north of earth, we thank you for your presence, for your presence. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. If you will turn to the east. Animate forces of the east, animate forces of the air, we welcome you in. We let you go. Thank you for joining us. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. I don't want to let them go, apparently. I invite you to turn now to the south. Animate forces of the south of fire, we thank you for being with us in ritual. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. I invite you to be seated again or to face the screen. You want to keep your hands up in offering and reverence, please do. Now is the time to say thank you and dismiss any of the other deities, the other ancestral forces, the other spirits that have been called in. You can do this out loud or in your heart. Thank you, Brigantia. Thank you, Great Aunt Sarah.
Thank you, grandmothers.
We'll end with 3 more we thank yous.
We thank you. We thank you. We thank you.
I invite you to do 3 claps with me to shift our energy. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. So good to see all that. Our circle is open again. Thank you for the sacred time of ritual with all of you. It's so good to see old faces and see some new ones too. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to leave any parting words in the chat, you are welcome to. I hope everyone has a blessed Samhain. And if anyone wants to stick around and ask a few questions about the course, I'm very happy to do that now. For right now, if folks want to put questions into the chat, that's great. If we become a smaller number, folks can unmute themselves as well. But blessings to everyone. Beautiful Samhain, beautiful fall, beautiful winter. And thank you again to Amelia for being with us. And thank you, Claudio, for doing IT support this whole time. Really appreciate it. And thanks to each of you for your voices in sharing in such a special space and at such a important time of year where there is a lot of liminality and a lot of vulnerability. Yeah. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, each of you. Yeah. Take some tea. Oops. I'm back though. Thanks, Tanya, for the resonance. Anyone who's still on too, I'm curious, let me know what your sound was. What was your sound like? And did it surprise you? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, good. Thanks, Janie. Yeah, I'll work on sound for next time, making sure I'm a little louder. Glad that worked. Finding a sound for energy and motivation was challenging. I love, I keep an altar at home, and which is a little hard to see here. The mic is in the way. Let's see. That's my altar, way in the distance. But something I found to make strange, good new sounds come out of me is praying in the morning. I try to pray most mornings, and I try to pray with sound, and singing, and let different sounds come out. And it is really great to have that space with just me and the forces I'm working with, who will just let me make whatever sounds I want. It's really freeing. So I encourage, more play. But that we don't have a lot of spaces where we're allowed to make the sounds we want in this culture. As kids, we're so expressive in that way, right? And then as adults, there's only specific sounds we're really supposed to make. And even grief and laughter are only, supposed to sound in specific ways. So we have to re-access that again. And that's part of what I want this course to be too, right? Accessing all those different forms of sound that make us reach parts of ourselves that we know are there, right? Or didn't know were there. Thanks, Paul. Thank you for being a part of the space with us. Yeah. It was so good to see you, Susan. Yay! I think I couldn't tell. You're welcome to unmute yourself if you want. We just have 6 folks left. So if folks want to unmute and talk, that's totally fine. Oh, maybe I can unmute. I think I could manually unmute. I'm asking to unmute you.
Ah,
Aha. I can hear you.
okay.